For most of history, people's lives were controlled by time and temperature. Food spoiled very quickly, especially in warm weather. Milk went sour, meat rotted, and fruit did not last long. Eating fresh food was risky, and food poisoning was common. Many diseases spread because of spoiled food. These problems affected how people lived and how healthy they were. Cities grew slowly because it was hard to safely feed large groups of people. Hospitals were hot and uncomfortable, making it harder for doctors to help patients. Infant death rates were high, and doctors had few ways to stop diseases from spreading. Life before refrigeration was unsafe and unpredictable. This began to change when we learned how to control cold. Refrigeration was not invented by one person at one time. Instead, it developed slowly through science, new inventions, and the needs of society. As refrigeration spread, it caused a major revolution, led to strong reactions, and eventually brought reforms that changed everyday life. Before refrigeration, people preserved food by salting, smoking, drying, or pickling it. These methods helped food last longer, but they often changed the taste and removed nutrients. Even preserved food could still spoil, especially during hot summers. Ice helped keep food cool, but it was hard to get. Ice was cut from frozen lakes in the winter and stored in ice houses using straw or sawdust for insulation. Much of the ice melted before it could be used. Because of this, ice was expensive and usually only available to wealthy families, hospitals, or businesses in colder areas. As cities grew during the Industrial Revolution, these problems became worse. Food had to travel farther to reach people, and spoiled meat and milk caused sickness and death. Hospitals became overcrowded and overheated. Doctors struggled to treat patients in these conditions. These dangers showed the need for a better way to control temperature. The refrigeration revolution began in the 1700s when scientists started to think about heat in a new way. They learned that heat was a form of energy, not a substance. This led them to study evaporation and gases, which removed heat from their surroundings. In 1748, a Scottish physician named William Cullen showed that evaporating liquids could create cold. His experiment was not useful for everyday life, but it proved something important. Humans could make cold instead of depending on winter weather. Cold was no longer controlled only by nature. However, turning this idea into machines people could actually use would take many more years. Before mechanical refrigeration became common, natural ice showed how useful cold could be. In November 1805, Frederick Tudor believed ice from frozen lakes in New England could be shipped to warm places and sold all year. Many people thought his idea would never work. Tudor lost money many times when ice melted during shipping. Over time, he learned that packing ice with sawdust helped keep it frozen longer. His ice eventually reached the southern United States, the Caribbean, and even India. Tudor's success showed that cold could be stored, shipped, and sold. People slowly began to trust controlled cold, which helped prepare society for refrigeration technology. As ice became easier to get, ice boxes became common in American homes during the mid-1800s. Ice boxes were insulated cabinets that used large blocks of ice to keep food cool. Ice boxes helped families store food longer and waste less. However, they still relied on regular ice deliveries.
The Iceman would come around and sell blocks of ice, and the people would put a sign out in their front door how many pounds of ice they wanted.
Ice melted quickly and could spread bacteria. These problems made it clear that a better solution was needed. Throughout the 1800s, inventors worked to turn scientific ideas into real machines. In 1834, Jacob Perkins designed one of the first mechanical refrigeration systems. It used compressed gases to move heat, a process still used today. Building on Perkins' ideas, in 1857, Ferdinand Carré improved refrigeration by creating absorption refrigeration. His system used heat and chemicals like ammonia and water to produce cold. This allowed refrigeration to work in large spaces and places without electricity. In 1876, Carl von Linde improved refrigeration machines so they could be used in factories and warehouses. His reliable ammonia-based refrigeration systems helped breweries, meat packing plants, and food storage businesses operate all year. But early machines were expensive, complicated, and sometimes unsafe, which slowed their use in homes. John Gore was a doctor in Florida, and in the 1840s, he found that heat made diseases like malaria worse. He believed cooling hospital rooms could help patients survive. Refrigeration began to help medicine. In 1851, Gore patented an ice-making machine designed to cool buildings and preserve food. Although it was not widely used, it showed that refrigeration could protect human health. This helped expand refrigeration beyond food. As refrigeration improved, industries changed quickly. Meatpacking was transformed. Refrigeration allowed animals to be processed in large factories and shipped long distances using refrigerated rail cars. Meat became cheaper and easier to find in growing cities. However, small local butchers struggled to compete. Factory workers often faced dangerous conditions, and concerns grew about cleanliness and food safety. Refrigeration made food production more efficient, but it also disrupted traditional businesses. Not everyone welcomed refrigeration. Some people believed refrigerated food was unnatural or unhealthy. Others worried that cold storage allowed spoiled food to be hidden and sold. Doctors debated whether artificial cooling was safe. Families feared machine breakdowns and the chemicals used in early refrigerators. Several deadly accidents occurred in the 1920s because of methyl chloride leakage from refrigerators. People started leaving their refrigerators in their backyards. Ice workers were affected as well. At its peak, the American ice industry employed about 90,000 workers and used around 25,000 horses for harvesting and delivery. Americans used millions of tons of ice every year, and cities depended on daily ice deliveries. As electric refrigeration spread in the early 1900s, this huge industry quickly collapsed, replacing thousands of jobs with mechanical refrigeration. These reactions show that refrigeration caused fear, resistance, and economic problems for many people. As refrigeration proved useful in medicine and industry, it slowly entered American homes in the early 1900s. Because many families were unsure whether electric refrigerators were safe or worth the cost, companies needed to show that refrigerators could make homes cleaner, safer, and more modern.
Do you know that this holds 70 pounds of frozen foods at zero cold?
We didn't have all this storage space in the door. Or conveniences like a butter conditioner, sliding shelves.
You know what I just love about RGE. Because of the moist cold refrigeration, you never have to cover dishes. And you don't have to defrost because frost never forms.
This refrigerator advertisement from 1954 shows how companies changed their message. Companies like General Electric, Westinghouse, Frigidaire, and Kelvinator mass-produced refrigerators and used advertising to build trust and encourage families to buy them. Over time, reforms helped solve the problems refrigeration created. Governments passed food safety laws, created inspections, and set temperature standards. These changes reduced illness and protected consumers. Refrigeration technology also improved. Safer chemicals were used, machines became more reliable, and costs went down. Refrigerators became common in homes, hospitals, and grocery stores. Reform turned refrigeration into a trusted part of everyday life. Refrigeration followed a clear pattern. Scientific discoveries caused a revolution. Society reacted with excitement, fear, and resistance. Reform improved safety and trust. Refrigeration was not a single invention. It was shaped by many people and industries over time. Today, refrigeration supports modern medicine, global food trade, and everyday life. Cold did not just preserve food, it preserved progress.